Hey, have you ever dealt with a person who felt like a bomb ready to go off? Yeah, let's talk about that. Welcome back, gamers, to the Responsol. I'm Sharon. I talk about spirituality stuff using gaming mechanics to help explain the concepts. In a perfect world, you could just walk up to someone and just say something, and they'll be thinking, taking it exactly how you meant to take and process it internally in a very simple way. Doesn't happen that way. I wish it did. I remember I was talking with this girl on a comment section on YouTube. It was some kind of, I somehow ended up on a domestic violence video and in the comments, and I meant this with all the love in my heart. Okay, that if she wasn't willing to get out of the situation, then she was allowing the abuse to continue. I meant well. Okay, the logic is still sound. I wanted her to get out of that situation, but the only way that was going to happen is if she did something or even just wanted to do something, because she kept making excuses to stay. She did not take this well. She Facebook stalked me, found out where I worked, and made a post on the company website that I was encouraging violence. This psycho woman from Texas wanted to end my existence over a comment. My boss laughed it off. She thought it was funny. She's like, get off the internet. I'm like, yes, ma'am. But this impacted me. And I realized that people don't always hear what you say. They hear whatever their emotional state allows them to hear. And I am not the best communicator. I've gotten better. But I'm sure this will happen again at some point. So I've taken far more caution to the internets. I needed more of a structure on how to handle passionate people. So got my fancy board out. So first off, I mean, you want to still respect their autonomy, right? Their beliefs, their experiences, and their values, right? Whatever their destiny may be. And keep in mind that their pain and their problems are their problems. You need this healthy barrier right here. I've absorbed it so many times and it's always bitten me in the ass. So, no, their pain and their problems are their own. And this is referring mostly to family, romances, friends, acquaintances, co-workers. I am not talking at the political level. I am talking about somebody that you are talking to, that you see, that you have a connection to. Okay, that's politics is its own insanity. So the goal isn't to control anyone. The goal in this is to be a friend, support their values. It is natural to try to sway someone to your values. I don't think that's malicious or anything like that. But if it's not in their best interest to be exactly in line with you, that is perfectly fine. People are a process, not a product. And as they need to be allowed to develop on their own and at their own pace, as long as nobody gets hurt. So I talked about this in another video, the cognitive webbing. Kind of talk about this again, where, okay, water, wet. Again, hopefully nobody's arguing this. This linking to this is kind of how the brain works, where you link the two together, and then this branches out. Rain, mud, things like that, and it branches out, and then this branches out to storms. So you understand that storms are similar to rain, which is similar to water, which is wet. So you can even do this. Like everything links together. It's webs out. The biggest problem, though, comes when you have like a teacher. They come around and they teach you something, and then it comes as a box. So when a teacher teaches you something, it can come like this, where it's not like, that storms exist, that rain exists, but you haven't quite linked them together because somebody just told you this. So it's not fully in there yet. And what this usually takes, depending on how complicated it is, obviously water being red, I really hope you understand that that's fine. But with more complicated subjects, you need time to reflect, to link these together. The more complicated it is, the more reflecting time it is. And then you can break this and link things together like that. Sometimes though, there we go. Sometimes though, the box comes with an emotional barrier around it. So we'll make it angry pink in this case. So this is like with charismatics. So people with high passion, or even religion. Religion tends to lock people into ideas and concepts with emotion, and they never question it. So if I started coming over here to this, even thinking about something about a religious idea, my brain's immediately gonna be like, no, I can't think about that. That's wrong. And then I turn away. So I don't actually link it out to something logical. I am in no way saying religion is wrong, but I'm saying that sometimes it can develop barriers that you should otherwise at least think out. And this can be dangerous because when you get around people who are charismatic and not necessarily good, so say like Hitler or something like that, they'll bring this emotional barrier and you won't question it. And that's dangerous. And so you think you're a bad person when you come up to it. And sometimes if it's popular, like it's even easier. That's another emotional barrier to that. If it's popular, if it comes from an authority figure, things like that. So back to the original concept. Let's erase this. So back to it. When somebody's trying to branch out a concept, let's say that stop that. Let's say that that water is wet. Okay. But your friend thinks, oh, water. No, it's not wet. It's grainy. Because simple analogy here. I'm not trying to step on people's toes. Okay, that's fine. Let them grow their experiences, and eventually they'll get there. As long as it's not hurting anyone, it's fine. So the first step you want to do though is validate the feels. Most of the time, people just want the acknowledgement. That's what I found that. Because I'm not a big talker, so this has been something I've had to cognitively think about. But people sometimes just talk just because it builds closeness, and it helps them mirror back what they're processing. So something just like, "Oh, that sucks," or "Oh, that makes sense." That goes a long way. The next thing you want to do is just help them reflect. So something like, "Have you ever been in this situation before?" That's usually a good one. Or what's your first instinct when this happened? This helps them just branch out a bit more to other ideas, to other concepts. Well, maybe it is wet, or maybe it's dry. They could go completely the other way. If they feel like they need to worship a tree or something, okay, go worship the tree, because that's the next step. And let them do whatever they think they should be doing, even if you think it's dumb. Okay, that is important. You want to try not to judge, disapprove, advise even. I've been in that trap so many times. Because what it comes across like is, it comes across like you're dismissing, which is not the point of a friend. Like if they want advice, they'll go to a YouTube video or something, or a book, or even a teacher, or they will directly ask you, help me, advise me. And you don't want to deny the situation either. You don't want to say, oh, that's not so bad, because that, or even say, oh, well, I've been in this situation, like that's even worse. I know what you're coming from. You're trying to tell them this as a way to comfort them, but it comes across people in the situation as a brush off. So don't do that. We also don't need universal truths in most cases. I've come across some friends that are just very, very hardcore in what they believe, and I didn't break the friendship. They broke their friendship because if I wasn't willing to agree to this 100%, then I couldn't be friends with them. Well, that's you. I wish you well, but I cannot do this. My boundary is definitely the only exception I have with having different truths is when it comes to physical safety and resource safety. But that's more on the political level of things. That's not the interpersonal, usually. So for the most part, as long as it doesn't hurt anything, they can be in a different pillar of truth. An example. So I am a carnivore. It's went fat again. My pillar of truth that I have found is the carnivore. Okay. I have tried the vegan stuff. I have tried all sorts of different types of diet things. I have done experiments on myself. I'm a biologist. It's what I do. My body hated the vegan stuff. I have tried all the potato techniques and everything, and my body hated it. So this for me was a blessing versus another friend. I am sure the whole vegan thing or vegetarian thing is just their pillar. They would never ever go into my lane. That's fine. I would never want to change somebody in this because it doesn't hurt anything for them to live their life and me to live mine. We could both go spend 10 years on our own research, come back and still disagree on the subject. It's fine. That's one of the things with American laws is that we are allowed to have different pillars of truth, right? Cool. All right. So this is Honey, I Joined a Cult. It's a colony builder. It's where you start a cult. I like the dark humor. I like the irony. You can build all sorts of ridiculous cults. Where's one of the dudes? You can see I did a Cthulhu classic type of cult. They have like a robot kind of cult you can build. You can make like a psychedelic kind of weed, basically kind of a cult. No, I would not actually join a cult. It's just funny. So one of the mechanics of the game is that if you do too much too fast, you got a heat that you can build up, right? You don't want to get too much heat because then you will be raided by the police. Haha. So, and people are the same way. I tried going for education for a little while and explored it and realized that the whole system is so messed up. But I remember one of the things I learned in that was just how beneficial it is for doing small spurts. That's why a lot of classes are broken up how they are. Instead of just dumping so much on somebody. Slow progress is better than overwhelming someone. The funny thing about this game is that the cults don't really respect people's autonomy, which we were just talking about. They tell you what to think, what to believe, who you're allowed to question. It's almost, the opposite of what we were talking about tonight. So anyway, let's sacrifice a guy. My sacrificial pit here. Yeah, sure. Just for funsies. It's a fun, quirky game. It's got a lot of unique, just dark humor, funny stuff to it. Lots of jokes. Makes fun of a lot of the cult stuff that they did in the 70s. You get a bunch of perk things when you sacrifice them. Okay, there she goes. Anyway, so yeah, so yeah, dark humor. Um, so thanks for hanging out with me. If you have any comments or fun, weird games that you like, I would like to know in the comments. And thanks for hanging out with me. Night.